On this episode of One Man, One Hand, and No Real Plan, we shine up a fender and hit the hell out of it with a hammer. Overall, damage there, and damage up in there, and then that tear down here in that corner. So on my passenger fender, you can see it's got a tear right here. Then we've got quite a bit of just surface rust, but we got some big damage right in here from a dent that was in there, and I kind of rough beat it out, but we got to smooth all that out. And then damage right here that we need to sort out. For the most part, I mean, trust me, these fenders are in really good shape considering. I got a little bit of a dent right in here and that kind of stuff, but we're going to start working on this one, mainly because it's the easier one of the two. I'm going to start on this big dent part I showed you a second ago, and I'm just going to sand both sides of it to be able to see what I'm working on and then work my way out. For right now, I'm going to work on the low spots in here, and I'm going to use the table as my dolly. So all I'm trying to do is find the spots that are low, like right here. And I know it's hard to see, but just kind of I'm working my way towards a finish. It's not going to get perfect on the first pass. I'm hoping those high points show up, these shiny pieces like right there. As I roll it, you can really see them pop, and that's the stuff. Now those are the high points we got to work down after working the other stuff up, and we're going to get started on that. And all I'm doing is pushing up with the dolly. Like this spot is high right through here. It's low right in front of it. So I'm putting the dolly right on this spot, and I'm going to hit right on the shiny spot. But what that does is pushes up the low spot while pushing down on the high spot. Doesn't take a lot of force, it's more just barely hitting it. And after sanding, you can see how much less defined they are compared to see how much more crisp the dent we haven't worked on is for a contrast compared to these that we've been working on. Now the dark spots are all the low spots we have to work on, so we're going to put the dolly under them and just keep gently tapping our way.
6.5 hours later.
After sanding and I wiped it down with some mineral spirits, this is the part we really haven't worked on, and you can see how many high spots and stuff we have. And I've left that for just some comparison contrast, and you can see like a lot of this is gone now. There's still some more right in there and a little bit, but up top where we had all those hammer marks is almost, I mean, you can feel it, but honestly, if you were just wanting to put some filler on it and go, you really could at this point up here. I'm going to hammer on this just a little bit more and try. I got a low spot there and some of these in through here I want to get, but I'm going to work on this spot and see what it looks like. There's also a dent. Oh, right there's another dent, and there's dents everywhere, but I just thought that would be an easy way to show you. You know, you could easily put filler on this and it'd be very thin. But we're going to finish it out. So now for the big reveal. Here's the dents that we kind of worked on, but I left so you could see what the high, like that dark spot's low and high. So you could compare and contrast to where we got the top part done. And I would say that's a pretty good result. It would still take a little bit of filler, just a light skim coat, but that's the goal for the whole thing, is to get it to be that smooth instead of roughed up like this and all these dents up in here. You can see in through here, all gone. Now on this dent right up in here, it's got some really nasty crevices and stuff, and I'm not sure if I could ever hammer and dolly that out. So I'm gonna use my I have a stud gun for pulling dents, and I'm gonna give that a try. So how this thing works is you just take one of these little studs, and they come in different sizes, but so you take and put it in here just like this. You gotta press against the material and then push this button at the end in order to make it work. So you put it where you want it, push down, push the button, and there it is. I didn't like the original puller that came with this, so I welded a nut onto the end of this vice grip so that I could just use it and adjust it as I needed. So we'll give her a shot here. And you can see how much it pulled it out there. So tried a little bit. I have a bigger one, a bigger set of them. It did pull it out quite a bit. You can see it there. It's getting there. We're doing quite a bit of damage on her. These aren't designed to hold forever, otherwise that'd be pointless. But it's definitely working. I like that bigger one better. So we're gonna keep working on this. I rearranged my setup to try and make the fender a little more secure. I put a little ratchet strap over the top to hold it down and maybe help it not slide as much when I pull on the slide hammer, so we'll see how well this works. Now I flipped the fender over and clamped it down so we can kind of work on it. But the good news is we got quite a bit of those wrinkles out. So I think we can go back to hammering and dollying it. We'll have to fix that hole in a minute. But I'm still nervous about some of these pretty hard wrinkles right in there. But we'll just start working this out and seeing what we can do. And I'm literally taking the rounded edge of this pretty cheap but nice and useful dolly, and I'm trying to use those to get that shape, because that fender is just not straight anywhere. Now right in here we've got some peaks. That's that hard ridge line I was talking about from the backside, but we're getting quite a bit of this fixed again. I've got a tear there from that, and there's a couple of tear spots. That's just gonna happen with really old metal, but I got some peaks out here too, but got to get that out, got to get that in. This is a lot better where we pulled on it. That's not nearly as harsh as it was. I think that worked really well. I wish we wouldn't have ripped a hole in it, but oh well.
One eternity later.
I think we're gonna hit it with the DA so we can see what's going on a little bit better. So you can see we've got a considerable improvement on it. Now I think we're gonna have to do some shrinking in here to try and sort some of this out, but right now I think I'm gonna try and work on getting some of these low spots out, and then we can shrink the whole thing down. Now it's in here, this dent right here is pushing, I don't know if it makes sense, but that's going in that way, and that's making a bulge out right here. So this has got a little bulge. So I'm gonna put this board on the part that's moving out. Here's where we're going in, and it's not huge.
That's what she said.
Michael, please.
We're still a little low here and high right in here. This is a dent too. This is all from that, but see how all that work we've done has brought our tear back perfectly smooth with it. Take a look at this. How's that for a nice smooth transition? One trick I like to use when I'm welding in, if it's too big of a hole that I can't just zap it, but yet it's too small to really be able to plug it or do something without making a seam, I'll take a piece of copper and some magnets and I'll hold it across the hole, and that gives you a surface to weld against. It's a pretty neat trick. Now remember, pretty people need full face shields. So I've got them welded up and pretty well back in shape. This turned out super nice right here. This piece, it needs a little fine tuning. And so this is called a shrinking disc. Makes a god-awful sound, but we're gonna use that real quick to try and work this over a little bit and finish it a little nicer.
Hey, wanna hear the most annoying sound in the world?
I got the crack where that was torn before. As we worked this all together, it pulled together. So I tacked that together. But I have to figure out, there's a lot missing under here. And until we get all the front end put together, I'm not 100% sure what's going to need to be replaced. So we'll worry about that a little later. I took out some dents around the headlight bucket because, but it was more of the same, so I just did it. We've got it all shrunk. We've got it all smoothed out, and I'm pretty proud of how it turned out. You know, we got this whole corner. It's not perfect, but for filler to go over the top of it, it's going to be great. And we basically got the fender back into shape. There's some stuff on the back I still need to clean up and get all the rust off of it, of course, but we've got a trued up fender again. I'm going to try a different product this time called Rust Be Gone. I had it. I'm just going to see how it works. It's supposed to, again, it's water-based, so you can just rinse it in water, and it's safe for the environment. And it says it takes 5 to 30 minutes, which I'd like this to be quicker. So we'll see how it works. After being coated for 30 minutes, and I rinsed it off, then I sanded it with a 60 grit DA. And it did make a huge difference, like especially on the stuff I couldn't get into. It cleaned all that up. These guys still need to be addressed some more, but like this pin and some of those all cleaned up really well. The side cleaned up superbly. So I think that's gonna pretty much be the work on this fender. It's mainly dents, a little bit of rust. We still have a patch panel up front to work on, but after that, I got to assemble it to see what it needs. I also got to decide what all I'm running, if I'm going to run that front chin or not. But just a little more mechanical cleaning on this and then treat it one more time. I think we're good. So one fender down, a million dents to go.